WGBR News Talk 1150. Good morning. The time is 8:38, and this is your Thursday edition of Newsmakers. I'm Carol Bowden. Hey, I lied. It's 8:39. Anyway, hey, good morning. I've got very, very special guests. I'm so excited. Coach Carl Lancaster with the Mount Olive Trojans baseball team, Conference Coach of the Year, Conference champions, former national champions. Should I go on?
Well, yeah. Sure.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Glad to be here.
I am so thrilled to have you here, and wow, what a great year. You guys are on a 23-win streak right now?
Yeah, we've this year was a bit unusual. We only had a couple of guys back from last season, and we didn't know exactly where we were going to go with this team, but, because of all the new faces, and early on out of the gates, we struggled a bit and kind of found ourselves, and we won 23 straight.
And ranked number 2 right now?
Ranked number 2 in the region, and I think 5 in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good year.
We're going to talk about everything involving Trojan baseball in just a minute, but first I wanted to surprise you. Some of you may or may not know that Coach started at Eastern Wayne High School just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
But you coached there. So I went to social media and contacted some of your old players and some folks that you just might remember when I mentioned their names and said, if you got anything you want to say, let me know, and I'll tell Coach in the morning. First one.
You mind letting me see that first?
No. First one, Steve Matthews said he was on the phone with Howard Jones as he was reading the post. Said, tell Carl that we all miss those days and wish him nothing but the best. Says, number 9 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Chris Sweezy said to thank you for all the great coaching and support. Emily Posey, remember her?
Mm-hmm.
She said, tell him the girls' basketball and softball teams appreciated his coaching, too. And I can attest to that. I was on the softball team. Harlan Neal said, Coach Lancaster taught me how to be tougher. We were the most well-conditioned baseball team. I'm proud to have played for him. He's a legend and will no doubt be a Hall of Famer. What he's done over his career at Mount Olive is amazing. Remind Coach, once a warrior, always a warrior.
Oh, yeah.
And Dale Evanson, he's up in Virginia. He said, Coach is a great leader and instructor. I learned so many things, large and small, on the fields, and that have served me long after. The importance of hard work, preparation, and teamwork that make your success. Thanks, Coach Carl. Congratulations on your success.
That's very nice. Appreciate that.
Well, I thought it would be kind of cool because they all can't be here. And then this I really liked, and this comes from Bobby Garrett. I think you might know him.
Do know him.
That's my older brother, by the way. And he played for you, I think, all 3 years.
Yeah, he did.
And Bobby said, with your success at Mount Olive and a national championship, have you ever been approached by a Division I school?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, but when that occurred, I was at the point in my career that you don't get approached unless you got a team that's struggling. And we have our program in the position it's in presently where we're always in the top 10 in the country. And at my age, to go start a new program knowing it's going to take you 5+ years to get it to where, it's respectable, I just didn't feel like I wanted to leave Goldsboro and Wayne County. Yeah.
Great answer, and we're really glad you didn't. And I'm certain that your team is as well.
Well, plus those big schools, they expect you to win. If you don't win, they'll fire you.
Another great point.
Yeah.
So some of the other accomplishments this year, perfect 4-0 on your way to the Conference Carolinas Championship.
Right.
You were named Conference Coach of the Year. Another great accomplishment. Mount Olive is ranked in the top 10 in all 3 national polls for the first time since the preseason.
Right.
You've made 12 NCAA tournament appearances, including each of the last 4 years and 7 of the last 8.
Right.
And then, of course, everybody in Wayne County remembers the national championship just 6 short years ago. And you tied for 3rd just 3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
So you got the regionals coming up. Let's talk about going forward. Really what I'd like to talk about right now is let's talk about this team because, like you said, you only had a couple of players come back. So you took a new bunch, and you've created a phenomenal team once again. How do you do it?
Well, it isn't me. I mean, I do a lot of recruiting and handling of the young men, but I've got a wonderful staff. Rob Watt's been with me for 10 years, and of course, Jesse's been with me for 27 years since he was born. And then I got Jason Shear, who's our pitching coach. Those guys work extremely hard, and we've just got a good setup. We really do, in terms of coaches having different, we got different jobs, all of us do, and everybody tries to do it the best they can. This year's team, though, like I said earlier, we really didn't know what this team would do because you got so many new faces. And quite frankly, we felt like we had the best pitching staff we'd ever had, and we ran into some troubles there. had some discipline issues and had to suspend some guys, and I mean permanently, because our program's not run that way. We also had 2 guys that get hurt on the mound, who was our closer. One was very good. I mean, he was 93, 94, which is real good at our level. And,
right.
And when those things occurred, we just said, gosh, what in the world? So the guys that we expected to be our bullpen guys have stepped it up into a starting role. And, the rest is history. The guys, I think the team really came together after they saw some of the people that were expected to be the guy carry this team fail to do and hold up the standards of the program. And after that, this team really came together. And I mean, it's been probably the most fun year I've had in quite a while. A lot of times you go out there and you wonder, if we don't win this year, we've done a bad job as coaches, because we do recruiting. A lot of people want to be in our program now, from all over the United States because
right.
of the success we've had. And that's the pressure we feel sometimes, if we don't win with this team we've got put together here, then, by God, we haven't done a very good job. But we felt like this year's team, we've done a tremendous job because other people expected it, but they didn't know what went on internally. And the guys that we had to remove from the program and the injury we've had. Our catcher, actually, he only played 4 games. He got mono, and he hasn't kicked it yet. He's not even, he's back home in Pennsylvania.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah.
You have struggled this year.
It's been an unbelievable year in terms of things going on off the field and sicknesses. And I know we played Belmont Abbey on a Friday night, and we had 8 of our guys out with some kind of stomach virus that was going around. So it's been a very trying year. It really has.
I was going to say, that's the kind of game that you just pull your hair out and say, all right, guys, just do what you got to do. So.
And just pray for the best.
Absolutely. Who are some of the players that you just never would have thought that they turned around and be the standout that they have this year?
Well, Derek Justice is 9-1 for us. Derek has always had the potential to be one of our frontline pitchers, always had some command issues. But this year, when things went on with the guys ahead of him, he really stepped it up. He did, and threw strikes, and, he'll go game 1 in the regionals, and he's just a totally different guy since he's been put in a position that I got to carry the load here rather than just come in and help out. So,
all right, well, that's a great place for us to take a quick break here. WGBR News Talk 1150. The time is 8:47. We're with Coach Carl Lancaster with the Mount Olive Trojans baseball team. Yeah, that championship team. You know who we're talking about. We'll be right back after these messages. WGBR News Talk 1150. The time is 8:50. Sorry for that sleepy music. Don't go back to bed. You're going to want to hear this. We're talking to Coach Carl Lancaster with the Mount Olive Trojans baseball team, formerly coach at Eastern Wayne High School. That's where we all got to know him. We being my crowd of folks. Steve Harlan, if you're listening, he's gonna come join us at the Oktoberfest. I know they get a chance to listen sometimes. Anyway, let's go back. We were talking about some players, and just tell me some of the ones that kind of stood out when they needed to. They took the load on their shoulders and went with it.
As we were saying, Derek Justice really stepped up. And another local young man, Josh Frederick. We've always thought Josh was a bulldog and has had his struggles throughout his career. And last summer he went out and played in Coastal Plains League and come back this year. And when everything went on, he took the same attitude that Derek did, and he's really pitched well for us. He's got an ERA, I think, is the lowest in the conference. He's come out of the bullpen. He's 4-1. I think he's got 4 saves for us. He's thrown like 40-plus innings. So, it's good to see a local boy shine a little bit.
Yes,
so,
it is.
We're real happy with him. Finally, he's come out and been the guy we expected all along, and he's feeling good about himself. And his career will end on a positive note, and we're real happy about that.
Oh, that's really great. So they're all resting up because the regional is slated for May 15th through the 18th, right?
Resting too long. Baseball is a game when you're playing and things are going well, you want to continue. Before we play again, it'll be practically 3 weeks, so quite a long break. So, when that happens, you really don't have a feel for what's going to occur, But obviously it's the same situation we had in 08, and things worked out real well with the national championship, so you just never know.
Where are the regionals going to be?
Well, unofficially, it's going to be at Lander in Greenwood, South Carolina. They are number 2 in the country right now. I think they're 46-6 this year. So, yeah, they're the team that everybody's got to be gunning for. But our regional is really difficult. It doesn't matter, what kind of year you've had. Yeah, it's everybody's good. I mean, somebody's going to go lose the first 2 and go home. And that team's going to be a very good team because we've got arguably the strongest region in the country. If you go back and look between the Southeast region, which is our region, in the South region, which includes Tampa and the people down in Florida, which part of our region is Florida as well. Those two are going to do very well at the World Series every year because it's just more conducive. You know, it's not like Division One. Division One will put 8 different regions, and they'll put the best 8 teams that they feel in those regions. So hopefully they'll get the 8 best teams at the end. Well, Division Two doesn't do that. If you're from up north, they won't bring a South team up there.
Right.
You know, you could advance up north with a very average team, or above average, obviously. But you know, a lot of times those guys have a hard time in the World Series. So.
Especially when they team up with you guys.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it's worked out over the years, but we'll see what happens.
What would you say is the biggest reason behind the success for this program that you've built? What's been your mindset?
Well, I think some of the guys touched on it that you got in touch with. We still have the same thing I had in high school. We believe in hard work. Unfortunately, there's too many kids today that have their lives are real easy, and they don't know the meaning of hard work. Those guys don't do very well in our program, quite frankly, because there's going to be a time that you're going to compete against teams that are just as talented as you are, and we have a firm belief that if we outwork you and it gets down to crunch time, that we pay the price a bit more, and it's going to be a little more challenging to run us away. So that's kind of the secret of our program. We work extremely hard. We want high character kids, obviously. We would like to have high athletic kids with high character, obviously. That's the number one thing. But
that's a great combination.
That's
right there.
a wonderful thing. But if you can get an average, above average kid and with high character, those guys are the ones that will win for you most of the time. That's what we make an effort to look for. And good grades, that is wonderful, because not only does it open some doors for them academically to get some financial help, that's a headache we don't have to deal with.
Good point.
If you've got a good student, obviously understands work ethic. And if you're going to work in the classroom, then it's not nearly as difficult to get effort that we expected them on the baseball field.
Yeah, if they've got that discipline in the classroom, sure, then you've got a lot less to worry about.
Very high correlation.
Without a doubt. You've got summer camp coming up, I think, for high school seniors.
Well, we got 3 camps the week after school's out. I don't have the dates on top of my head, but the full first week after public schools are out, we have a day camp for the young kids, 7 through, I think it's 11, which is just a mini camp. We run from 9 till 12, and that's about all these kids want at that time of the year when it's really hot,
True.
And then the first week in July, we have a overnight camp, actually, and they can stay over our day camp, but that's some more advanced. We go from that group, we go from 12 to 15, somewhere in 14 maybe. And that group, we go 3 sessions a day. We go into the night, and it's pretty intense. So you got to really want to be a ball player to go to that camp. And then we skip a week, and then the following week we bring in the older kids and do basically the same thing. So our camps do very well.
Are there any names that you can recall right this minute that we need to be looking for or in the future as far as perhaps being at Mount Olive or
locally?
Yeah.
Don't want to say that yet.
Okay.
There's
okay.
And
I get why you don't want to say that.
You don't want to say that and then they not show up.
All right. No problem there. You mentioned earlier when you were talking about your coaching staff, and I think it's beautiful that you give them the credit that they no doubt deserve, because it is a team sport, so there's not one person that outshines any other. But what's it like working with your son? Jesse's been there with you for a couple of years now. What's that like?
I don't know. I catch myself often just standing kind of to the back and watching him, because he has grown into a young man, and he's has always been a very special young man, regardless of where he was at, because he carries himself so well and is very studious academically as well as a student of the game. But he probably played with the most passion of any kids we've ever had. He played hard, and he loved to compete. He's the same way in coaching. He really likes the recruiting end of it, which is great, because that's kind of that's part of my deal. But I used to get a thrill out of recruiting and going and seeing guys. And Jesse's leaving tomorrow to go to Florida for about 5 days, and I don't mind that a bit at my age, So, but he is at the age I can see a lot of myself in him, because I thoroughly loved doing that when I first took over at Mount Olive, and it's a thrill working with Jesse. It really is. Like I said, I just catch myself watching him, and when he doesn't know it, just saying, pretty proud of that young man, and he's going to be extremely successful in baseball.
I think that is great. Well, we've just about run out of time here, and I knew it was going to go a whole lot faster than I wanted it to, but promise me that you'll come back
Tomorrow? Yeah.
Come back tomorrow. I love it. I love it. No, I do. I want you to come back when you guys take the regionals, and each time we make that step. But Coach Carl Lancaster, thank you so much for coming in and sharing everything, not only about your team, your family, your friends. I appreciate it, and we appreciate you. We're all pulling for you in the
Thank you
regionals.
for having me, Carol.
Hey, that's going to do it for our Thursday edition of Newsmakers on WGBR News Talk 1150.